Every RAG tutorial you have ever watched probably looks something like this. A user asks a question, the system converts that question into an embedding, then it searches the vector database, retrieves the top documents, and sends all of them to the LLM. Done. Simple. But here is the problem. This is a tutorial diagram. This is not how most production RAG systems actually work. In production, there's another step hiding between retrieval and the LLM. Actually, there are two different kinds of models involved in the retrieval, a bi-encoder and a cross-encoder. They are both transformer models, but they do completely different jobs. And understanding the difference is one of those things that separates I know RAG and I know how production RAG works. So in this video, let us understand what bi-encoders are, what cross-encoders are, where they sit inside the RAG pipeline, and why almost every production-grade RAG system uses both. Let us first look at the ingestion side because nothing changes here. We start with our knowledge base, maybe PDFs, maybe documentation, maybe company documents, maybe company policies, whatever data we want our chatbot to answer from. We split those documents into smaller chunks. Each chunk is then converted into an embedding using an embedding model. These embeddings are finally stored inside a vector database. That's it. Nothing surprising here. The interesting part starts when a user asks a question. Suppose the user asks any query like, how do I reset my company VPN password? The first thing we do is convert this query into an embedding. And this is important. We use the same embedding model that we used while indexing our documents. Now we compare the query embedding against millions of document embeddings that are stored inside the vector database. The nearest embeddings are retrieved. This entire process is powered by something called a bi-encoder. So what exactly is a bi-encoder? A bi-encoder is called a bi-encoder because the query and the document are encoded independently. Think about the ingestion stage. Every document chunk was embedded long before the user even asked a question. Days ago, weeks ago, maybe months ago, during the ingestion phase. Now, when the user sends a query, only the query needs to be embedded. The document embeddings are already sitting inside the vector database, waiting to be searched. So during similarity search, the model never actually looks at the query and the document together. Instead, it compares two already generated vectors. That is why this is called a bi-encoder, two separate encodings. This makes retrieval very fast. Even if your vector database contains 1 million, 10 million, or even 100 million chunks, vector similarity search is still practical. And that is exactly why every large-scale RAG system starts with a bi-encoder. But there is a trade-off. Since the query and the document never interact during encoding, the model sometimes misses subtle meanings. It might retrieve chunks that are kind of related instead of the chunks that are actually relevant to the answer. So, after retrieving say top 20 chunks, top 50 chunks, up to you whatever you set the top K to, but suppose we have retrieved 20 chunks, we do something smarter. We use the cross-encoder. Instead of encoding the query and document separately, a cross-encoder feeds them into the model together. The input now looks something like this, query plus document chunk. The model can now let every word in the query attend to every word inside the document. In other words, the model actually understands the relationship between the two pieces of text. Instead of producing embeddings, it directly produces a relevance score. So suppose the bi-encoder retrieved 20 candidate chunks. The cross-encoder then scores all 20. Then it reorders them from most relevant to least relevant. This process is called reranking. Now, notice something important. The cross-encoder is not searching the vector database. The search is already over. It is simply deciding among all these retrieved chunks Which ones deserve to be shown to the LLM first? Now, here is the golden question. Why does re-ranking matter? This may sound like a small improvement, but it has a surprisingly big impact. Remember, the retrieved chunks are eventually placed inside the LLM prompt, which will generate the answer. And LLMs do not treat every part of the prompt equally. They are generally much better at using information that appears near the beginning of the prompt and near the end than information that is buried somewhere in the middle. This is known as lost in the middle problem. Here is the full video. So if the most important chunk accidentally ends up in position number 12, the LLM may completely overlook it. But by re-ranking, we move the most relevant chunks to the very top, which means the LLM is much more likely to use the correct information when generating the final answer. Now, here is another golden question. If cross-encoders understand the relationship between the query and the document so much better, why don't we just use them from the beginning? Great question. Now imagine your vector database contains 5 million chunks. A cross-encoder would need to compare the query with chunk 1, then query with chunk 2, then query with chunk 3, all the way up to 5 million. For every single user query, that is simply too slow, too expensive, and actually completely impractical. The Bi-Encoder solves this problem by reducing millions of candidates down to maybe 20 or 50. Only then do we spend the extra computation on the cross-encoder. So production systems get the best of both worlds, fast retrieval and accurate ranking. So here is the complete production retrieval pipeline. First, documents are embedded and stored in the vector database. Whenever a user asks a question, the query is embedded using the same embedding model that we used while embedding the documents. A Bi-Encoder performs a fast similarity search and retrieves the top candidate chunks. Then a cross-encoder takes those candidates, looks at the query and each chunk together, re-ranks them and pushes the most relevant chunks to the top. Finally, those re-ranked chunks are sent to the LLM to generate the answer. So remember this simple rule. Bi-encoder retrieves and a cross-encoder re-ranks. One gives you speed, the other gives you accuracy. And together, they form the retrieval pipeline used in most production-grade systems today. Hey everyone, congratulations. If you have come this far, you are already ahead of most people out there. Trust me, be proud of yourself. What we learned just now, it wasn't superficial AI content. It was about real technical backbones of AI systems. If you like this video or if you have any suggestion, do comment down. It helps me and my team learn from our mistakes and do better in our next videos.